to build a strong and better nation. I say that is the main foundation. So come let us work hand in hand, because this is our land. Come my brother, come my sister, and let us build a nation together. Ooh, yeah,
Come, my brother, come, my sister, and let us build Grenada, Carriacou, and Petit Martinique. Let's develop this place. Let's transform this place. Let us make it better for our children and children. I want to start off this morning by encouraging those on Facebook and YouTube to please share the live. We will have a shortened version of the program this morning because a good friend, well, a family, sent me some stuff to go up to Carriacou, and I intend to send that up this morning, all right, for the home. So it will be a shortened version of the program this morning. You know, the Osprey comes down at a particular time and goes back up at a particular time, and I don't want to miss it, all right? So I would make it my duty to at least get those adult diapers and so on the boat, sent up to Carriacou, so my good pal, the Honorable Tevin Andrews, can hand that over for me on their behalf. All right? So it's a shortened version. I will definitely wrap up the program at 8:30 this morning, meaning the program will only be about 15 minutes this morning. All right? I'll be back with you tonight in the hub for the full hour. But I want to speak briefly to say, people are now seeing the desperation on the part of the opposition forces. And note, I am saying forces. So it's not just the pundits or surrogates or goons of the NNP, but it's a cobweb of people in this country who want to see bad things befall the country. And they're not just sitting, waiting for that to happen, but they are actually doing everything in their power to make it a reality. They want bad things to befall Grenada, Carriacou, and Petit Martinique. I played for you yesterday a piece from GBN News, and a lot of people are now looking at this to say, but why are they doing these things? Why would a news outfit put out such a news item or news piece when there is no direct connection to Grenada? All right? In other words, a tourist comes to Grenada, enjoys her birthday, her 50th birthday, and goes back to Nigeria or wherever she comes from. That's kind of normal in any small island state or any country. Whatever she does after that has nothing to do with Grenada. She doesn't owe Silver Sands. She doesn't owe Calivini Island, right? But if you listen attentively to the NNP talking points, you would realize the angle that they have been pushing for the last 2 years and a half. You listen to the leaders within NNP, and you get a sense that they are targeting the good image of this country, in my belief. because they find this government has been able to navigate all the different challenges nicely or too easily. And as a result, they would love for anarchy and chaos to break out. They would love for some publication, regionally, internationally, painting Grenada badly. They targeting the CBI program. They targeting, certain investments throughout the country. They targeting certain programs because they just want bad things to happen. That is what they want. Bad things to happen to Grenada. So you have to understand what they want. What are their intentions? And if you understand that, whatever they say will not move you. Once you know the enemy plans, it would not be a surprise to you. It would not shock you. And that is why I am speaking to you like this, so you can understand their strategy, what they want to achieve, because they do not see a path to victory. They do not see themselves getting back into power if the NDC continues to deliver like this. If the NDC continues to bring prosperity and opportunities to our people, they do not see any path, the NNP, of coming back in. So what they would love to happen, because they know Grenadians consume a lot of information, and they know Grenadians love some drama, and they know that once some kind of thing is out there, Grenadians tend to run with it. All right? So they know the population. They know what a lot of people look for: gossip, misinformation, propaganda. That is what a lot of people consume. And it travels very fast. But the NNP is not getting their way. They're not having their way. Every day seems to be a bad day for them. Right? So when GBN did that piece, I question it. I question the motive. I question the why. Why would you publish a piece like this? What you're trying to achieve? What you want people to believe? Because you see, when you disseminate information, it is not just you saying something and it's out there in thin air. Many a times when they publish certain things, they have an intention. They have an objective, right? And the objective here is what we need to understand. What they're really trying to achieve. They want you to believe that this Nigerian woman has some man in Grenada, or they want you to believe that she has some investment in Grenada, or they want you to believe that she has a Grenadian passport, or they want you to believe that she's connected to Grenada in some way or some shape or form. Sometimes you have to ask those questions. What they want you to believe out of these kind of publications, right? And many a times it's not just the reporter reading this thing or saying this thing. You have to look at the producer, the people who are behind the scenes producing those news items, and then look at the political affiliation. Look at where they stand politically. Are they producing just for GBN, or are they producing for other outfits that are anti-government? These are some of the questions. Anti-NDC, anti-government, right? Are they aligned to a certain, political party? These are the questions that you must ask. Because you listen to this news item.
Aisha Achimugu, a well-known entrepreneur in Nigeria, is now at the center of a major corruption investigation. The Nigeria-based Economic and Financial Crimes Commission, or EFCC, issued a public notice on Friday stating that Achimugu is wanted in connection with an ongoing financial fraud case. Authorities say she was invited for questioning but failed to appear, then reportedly fled Nigeria. Now, with a court-issued warrant against her, law enforcement is asking the public for help in locating her. The EFCC statement includes Achimugu's last known address in Abuja and urges anyone with information to come forward.
Right. So, folks, what the hell that has to do with Grenada? What it has to do with Grenada? And then you have those NNP zygotes and sycophants spreading all kinds of misinformation. They want you to believe that this woman has a strong back man in Grenada, or they want you to believe that this woman has a Grenadian passport and she has a connection to this place or some investment here. What that has to do with Grenada? My question is, what that has to do with Grenada?
Investigators believe she may have ties to a high-profile investment fraud case. Achimugu gained international attention in January 2024 when she hosted a spectacular week-long celebration for her 50th birthday here in Grenada. The exclusive event took place on Calavini Island.
And so what? And so what? If a tourist, if a person comes to Grenada and celebrate her birthday, what the hell that has to do with you? Huh? I could see if she owes Silver Sands or she owes Calavini Island. I mean, it's outrageous. It is sad because these people are out there trying to paint a bad picture of Grenada. And not just the news outfit. I'm talking about NNP surrogates, goons, zygotes, and sycophants. They because they're so accustomed to during NNP time, every Monday morning, you're hearing about some fraudster, some convictor, some crook, right? Who con Grenada of millions and millions of dollars under the NNP administration. They have grown so accustomed to that existing in a peaceful environment, existing in an environment where you're not hearing Grenada naming anything, and no convictor, no crook, and coming to the country and con the government. You have to understand these people, and if you understand them, you will be okay. You just have to understand them. Get to understand where they're coming from. They're dangerous, many of those surrogates, because all they want is to paint Grenada bad. All they want is to paint Grenada bad. That's all. And folks, we have to be very skilled because many a times our people are the ones spreading the misinformation. So you listen to some of those NNP programs. You remember, the objective of those NNP programs is to paint Grenada bad, is to paint the government bad. So some of our supporters, our people, would listen to those programs and they would run with the misinformation and start spreading it. So they hear the NNP saying, well, she has a Grenadian passport, or she has this, or she has that, and they run with that misinformation. They run with it. That's how they operate. Some of our people. So you have to be very careful where you listen to certain information. And as I say to a friend, if she has a Grenadian passport, right, all the authorities could do is to revoke it. And that's it. Look, this thing is not rocket science. These things are basic. If she has a Grenadian passport, then they could just revoke it. I mean, some of these people, it's not like the woman owe Silver Sands or owe Calavini Island or owe you. Because some of those NNP doing as though the woman owe them some money. So they trying to dig up dirt and go all about to hike for information to make Grenada look bad. That's their intention. The intention is to make Grenada look bad. And I am saying to some of our supporters, you have to be very careful because you might be consuming bad, toxic information. When you consume that, It changes your balance and your mindset. There are some programs you ought not to listen to, or else you can easily be, you could turn a lunatic easy, so you could turn fool easy like that by listening to some of those programs. So I'm saying, these things are basic. These things are simple, right? This is not rocket science. So do not fall for all this, because you see, what they're trying to do is to paint Grenada bad. What has this woman done to Grenada? Huh? What has this woman done to you? You tell me. I want to know. She owe you? Huh? You did business with her? You people have to, because you see, the NNP, they want to stain the CBI program. They want to damage, and I'm talking about the NNP surrogates, goons, zygotes, and sycophants, right? They want to damage the program. That is what they want, because they know that the program is generating a lot of money for government to do things in the country. And they have highlighted the contribution that the program will be making towards the 2025 budget. So the NNP's intention, those zygotes, those infertile embryos, those waste sperm, what they want to do is to undermine the integrity of the program. That is what they want. So then less revenue would come in and less projects and programs will get started or will continue, that kind of thing, because they want the government to go into financial difficulties and problems. You have to understand how nasty these people are. They're no good. They're nasty to the core, and that's their intention. You have to understand this thing like a T, Their strategy is to seek to undermine the program, but so far the program is intact. If the program deem that this woman, for example, because there is no evidence that this woman has a Grenadian passport, but if she has a Grenadian passport, for example, all they do is to just revoke it. This thing is simple, Yeah, and that's it. This woman don't owe you, but some of you are also bad-minded and nasty. Yeah, those NNP infertile embryos. All they want is bad news to befall Grenada. Bad things. That's all they want. As though they don't live here. And some of them, they're scrunty. Some of them, they could take a bamboo and juke them in the house. You live here and, try to pick up yourself from where you are. You're bad-minded piece of thing. But you people would be out there spreading false information, misinformation, with the hope that you would undermine the program. Because you don't want Grenada to get money to build and transform this place. They're nasty. They ain't good. You think they're good? So you have to understand the intention. That is what you have to understand. Not them just coming out there and say certain things. The intention is evil and wicked. They're no good. Do you think they're concerned about Grenada and they care about Grenada? No, they don't. That is why under the NNP administration, so many crooks and conmen came here and rape and rob this country of everything. And mind you, they were not saying anything, They shut their labas. They shut their bad, dirty mouth. They shut it up. That is what they did. They remained quiet. But now they could talk. And any little thing, they're trying to jump on it and make a big scene. All you, all you too nasty and bad-minded. This is our country. This is Grenada. Just to kick all you out. All you too bad-minded. Saying all you in El Salvador in one of them big old thing that they send some of them deportees in. All you too wicked with all yourself. This is Grenada. This is our place. We have to protect it, yes. We have to make sure that this place remain solid. But you see, they ain't concerned about Grenada. They want power. And they believe by staining the good image and name of the country and trying to attack the CBI program. That's what they're going after, Because that is a revenue generator. That is what they're going after. You understand? But they want to be out there playing things. Some of them, they're not patriotic. No, they're nasty. They're dirty, they're bad-minded. But that would not stop Grenada from developing and advancing and bettering the lives and living standard and condition of our people. But they make stories. I mean, it's just it's sickening to the core. But that's how they operate. And I say to these people, what the woman, what she has for all you? She owe all you? Huh? Do you know the amount of people who do things around the world and they're arrested, charged, some of them go to jail, and they owe you? Huh? Stanford Simon, what was his name? Stanford, Alan Stanford, not Stanford Simon, Alan Stanford. I think that was his name. Alan Stanford, I think that was his name. I think out in Antigua, he ended up in some jail. I don't know if he dead or alive. He gave how much million of dollars to cricketers in the region, and he ended up in jail. Go and take their money. Go and take Fletcher money, and go and take this one money and that money to backward and dumb with all your NNP self. Go and take the money. You end up in the jail in the United States. So go and take their money and say the money that they have is not theirs. Or sometimes you just take some stale pea and just toss it in all you. And all you will get some sense. Those NNP goons, zygotes, infertile embryos, and sycophants. Look at all you. You wonder. It's not even funny, right? But I say this because what they want is to see Grenada on its knees. They want bad things to happen to this place. And they targeting certain programs. They targeting the CBI program because when they look in the budget, they realize that the budget will depend heavily on the CBI program. That is what they're doing, You don't understand what they're doing? I'm going to speak to you further about it tonight in the hub. You hear me? That is exactly what they're doing. The intention is to undermine this program. Every time you see they targeting it. But the program is transparent. Look at, you had some agent or firm marketing this thing. They under marketing, I think that's the term, or they're not taking from the clients the required amount. Right? So the clients are going to them. Although they pay in the treasury the full amount that they're supposed to pay, but the clients going to them and purchase citizenship. Right? So what they did, they issue a statement and they say, look, we be suspending this, we be penalizing that firm. That's how this IMA thing is serious, and it's been governed and controlled by good people, knowledgeable people. So it's not like under the NNP administration at that time, all kind of name Charles Lou, all kind of Lou, and all kind of names, different, totally different, right? So they vex, they angry, they bitter because of all of that. But we are pressing forward. We are moving forward as a nation. But you have to understand the intention. The intentions. That is what you have to understand, not just them saying something. When you listen to some of those NNP-leaning anti-government programs, you have to understand what they're targeting. See, they're targeting Karaku. Some of them, they have not even set foot in Karaku. Not even foot. They ain't said, look, I'm going now and send up some adult diapers to the home, because a family in the United States said, look, they would buy that and send it up there for them. And they send it to me, so I'm sending it up. That's ordinary Grenadians, simple people who just want good for Grenada, Carriacou, and Petit Martinique. Ask them when last they did something for Carriacou and Petit Martinique. The NNP stooges, goons, zygotes, and sycophants. Ask them when last did you do something for Carriacou? You ask them. It's amazing. They don't like this place. They don't want good for Grenada. And if you understand that, you have no problem. When they speak, you just say, troops. Anytime they open them, you just say, troops. Don't get a blackout, Don't get a blackout. Just say, troops. Once you understand them, you have to understand them. Understand their intentions. They bad-minded to the core. They're wicked. They ain't good. You hear me? But folks, I'm going to wrap up the program at this point in time because I want to make it down by the Osprey, right? I'll be back with you tonight in the hub starting from 8 in the p.m. To continue this conversation because we have to converse, we have to talk about this so people can